valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What's your problem?
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back. It is still Global Morning on Global Television. Now the second conversation. This discussion is something that you will really love because we want to look at the economy. Well, this is 2024, our counting days. This is the 26th day of December 2024. And 27, 28, 29, 30, 31st, we will get out of this year into 2025. But then, how has 2024 been? Well, we want to look at State of the Nation and Survivor Series in 2024. I have Olamileko Adefolarin, and of course, he's a political economist, and he will be my guest on the program this morning. Good morning, Olamileko.
Good morning, and nice to be here once again.
It's good to have you. How has it been? How has the celebration been? I should be saying Merry Christmas.
Exactly, Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to the entire management and crew of Global TV and to Nigerians at large. It'd be nice, when you see how the celebration be. We have been able to manage the celebration in our own way, according to your pocket, according to your size of the, and according to how you can reach out to people, your neighbor, your co-tenant, and the rest of them. I think that's how we've been managing the celebration of Christmas until now.
All right, let's get into the economy of the nation, State of the Nation, Survivor Series in 2024. A lot of people have so many stories to tell for 2024, especially when this administration came on board after the 2023 elections. When the policy came out, the policy, we're getting to hear that this policy is somehow trying to pave way, for Nigerians' economy, making things work. But then, what would you have to say comparing the economy of 2023 and that of 2024?
That's a very interesting question from you, comparing economy of 2023 then to 2024 before we go into 2025. I think looking at that, we have to go back to memory lane. How has Nigeria economy been since 1960? Between 1960 to 1966, and before the military took over, to 1980, I think the economy was very, very fair. At that period, we have not yet got into the indoctrination of British Wood economic policy, which they normally subscribe to most African countries and third world countries. But by 1986, we begin to subscribe to some of the policy which change the level of the thinking, which change the level of government involvement in the economy at that point in time. And since 1986 now, it has also changed in a way that by 1999 that the civilian government took over from government, they also advanced those policies that have been promoted by Western institutions, IMF, World Bank, and the rest of them. And that alone opened Nigeria economy to global interaction, global engagement, that brought a new novel of economic policy, either at the macro level or the micro level into government. And with that, it reduced government participation in the real sector of the economy, talking about government engaging in competitiveness, in productivities, and also providing services for the people. And with that, it gave us the background of how Nigeria economy has been. Then when you now compare it 2023 to 2024, there was a disconnection in a sense that between 2015 to 2020, when APC, President Buhari-led government took over power, they brought in new levies or leverages into government policy, particularly economy, in terms of what they think is right. They were after corrupt practices in government. And at that point in time, that was when this notion and this interest around scam, subsidy scam came up. And the government at that time, they wanted to take headlong to fight that corruption in that sector, but they could not. By 2023, when Tinubu came to power, his first message to Nigerians, his first task was to remove fuel subsidy. Under the same Buhari government, government before Buhari, there was this challenge of floating or having a free flow or liberalizing our exchange rate, talking about naira exchange to other countries, foreign currency, but they did not do that. But when Tinubu came up, he took the second log at the economy and he floated in naira. So two principal economic policy that previous governments were not able to take headlong as a result of the effect it may add on the people, either at a short, long-run perspective or at long-run perspective. But when Tinubu came, we took these two economic policy, that means floating in naira and also removal of fuel subsidy. And these two policy were more or less one of the key policy that Nigerians, other Nigerians, feel the impact of government when it comes to, marshalling out government policy in the area of welfareist perspective. Talking about fuel subsidy, it has been one of the largest that many Nigerians enjoy from in terms of the price of fuel or PMS, kerosene, and the rest of the. Although we understand that the one of diesel, the one of kerosene have been deregularized over 8 years ago before Buhari came to power and before Tinubu also came to power. But critically, two policy of Tinubu government between May 29, 2023 till now were the major policy shake in Nigeria economy that really devastated ordinary Nigerian purchasing power as well as the ability of Nigerians to enjoy welfare policies from the government.
All right. Let's do an assessment of the economy now. Of course, we're looking at survival series. An economy like this, when a policy like this is being put in place, because the hardship what Nigerians are facing right now is as a result of the policies. The federal government and the Minister of Economy, they have their reasons why this was done. You even said the past administration would have done it too, all right, but he did it. Do you think there is a better way that this would have been done so that the hit is not this much for 2024?
Exactly. There were better ways. One of the better ways was that, let's take the petroleum industry, for instance. We have the Petroleum Industrial Act that also marshal our government is going to participate in the oil and gas sector. Then the other aspect of it is the refineries working. Many of us have thought that, okay, before first subsidy was removed, the 4 refineries of the federal government would have been functional, and it also give opportunity for more refineries to be operational. Talking about government-owned refineries, but suddenly we never had that happen. So when the first subsidy was removed, the price of PMS was not dictated as a result of market fluctuation, market supply and demand, and related to international transmission of the price of crude oil exchange to the production of PMS. So those effects now affected the economy in a way that we are not producing PMS locally, we are depending on importation, and that alone affected the economy generally. I wish doing it better would have been, let us put the refineries to work, and that would have been something that would have been done since 1999, not just today, not just yesterday. If the refinery had been functional since 1999 optimally, not even it was functional between 2003 to 2015 that we had a partial functioning of the refinery, because during Jonathan administration the refinery were functioning partially, but during the Yar'Adua administration that was when he brought out about $800 million to refurbish the refinery, but they never worked until when Jonathan took over power, and they worked partially and they collapsed again, and Buhari tried it but it never worked. But we understand that during his government over $15 million to $19 million has been spent in terms of 15 to 19 billion US dollars have been spent in terms of putting those refineries to work, and they never work. But not until recently that we now understand that partially the refineries, one of them in Port Harcourt, is working. So in the past, since 1990, I wish these refineries have been functional, and the licenses given to private owners to build refineries like the one that we have now, like Dangote, or working now, have been existing since 1999, or let's say 2007, or let's say 2012 or 2010. We won't be having the same problem that we had with the transmitted effect of the PMS price on Nigerians that we have today. Then the other aspect is the fluctuation of the naira that Tinubu took over and implemented. How will the other government also understand that to make the naira to be stabilized is productivity? Although the Tinubu government have never understood the other side of the naira fluctuation, not just floating it using technicality to raise the Nigerian reserve or using technicality to raise more FPI or FDI into the country, but use the same technicality to ensure that local production is very efficient. in terms of that, we have about 43 items that we can comfortably produce here in Nigeria. Well, here we are, the Buhari government under Emefiele CBN management, knock out those guys from accessing dollar from the official market. But the same government that we have today allow those 43 items to access dollar from the official market, which also added pressure to a number of people that are looking for dollar to do their business, which means that importation will continue with those 43 items. Meanwhile, local production of them will die naturally.
Local production of them will die naturally. But one of the things Nigerians are saying is, whatever the situation is, we should be able to at least have a free square meal. And there is a school of thought. Some economists have, it's actually a theme of debate anyway. Some economists, you are an economist, some economists believe that for Nigeria to get across, to get over the situation, this hardship needs to be there, that it is common with every economy. For an economy to be revamped, for an economy to get better, this hardship that Nigerians are going through is normal. That's what a lot of people, most economists say, but a lot of Nigerians are confused about that. If you really want to make this happen, this hunger, this challenge should at least have some other thing that will cushion the effect. Well, are you of the same school of thought that Nigerians compulsorily have to go through all of this for us to get things right?
The question you asked, how many of those Nigerians are even going through this hardship? The category of classes of Nigerians, according to my theoretical analysis of those classes, are about 6. We have the main elite class, the political elite class, who are at the apex of the Nigerian pyramid of structure. Talking about president, ex-president, ex-governors. Are those people falling into the same hardship that we are falling today? No. Either military governor in the past, other former president, military, civilian governor, they are not in the same category of people who are suffering the hardship that majority of Nigerians on the street are facing. Then we have the second caliber of people who are majority people who have served either as ministers, as commissioners, who have passed through that cadre of political arrangement, political appointment in Nigeria. Would they say they are also fall into the same victim? Members of National Assembly before or now? No. They also have the category of Nigerians who are owners of production. Banks, MD, chairman of commissions, and the rest of them, either in the past or now, are they facing the same reality? No. Then we now have the fourth average Nigerians who are hustlers, who are working for those owners of production, who are big-time lawyers, SAN, and the rest of them. Are they also facing the same challenges that other Nigerians are facing? Then we have the fifth category, who are the average Nigerians, like you and I, who are still surviving as a result of our skills and the rest of them. Yes, we are facing the reality because we don't have the buffer to be able to safeguard our purchasing power with what the first 2, 3, and 4 category has. Those first 2, 3, 4 categories are those ones that quickly change their naira into dollar and keep it somewhere. Those are the ones that all domiciliary accounts somewhere are beginning to use it. Then the last of the cadre, which is the 6th class or 6th of the structure, are the ordinary Nigerians who don't have jobs, who depend on, like you and I, our cousins, our younger ones that are still depending also, same Christmas money. Those ones, they don't even have any hope of anything. So we look at the first 4 categories of individuals. They are safe. They are not faced with these same challenges that we are facing. But the last 2 that have been mentioned are the ones facing these 2 issues. Because we don't have dollar. We don't change our currency to foreign currency. We don't have any businesses that we are running that is running into millions of naira or on monthly basis or yearly basis into billions. But these first 2, 3, 4, they have their children abroad, they have their wives abroad, they have homes abroad. So those people don't face the reality. So the answer is that Nigerians are facing the hardship, but not all Nigerians. And that's why I bring this category of 6 culture of the people in our society to tell you that at least the 2 last people are the majority, and they are the ones facing these challenges. Some of them are those other first 4. Some of them are still collecting pension from government. Some of them are still collecting contracts from government. So they are surviving. But those of us that doesn't have any relationship with any government, we don't have any pension anywhere, we don't survive with this kind of hardship. And to quickly add, there are 3 major hardships that Nigerians are facing. Apart from the impact of the PMS price, apart from the floating of the naira challenge that have caused so many transmission into the price of Nigerian commodities and the rest of it, the other one is security. And that security is what has led to the poor food production in Nigeria today.
security. A lot of people can't go to farms anymore. You can't even transport goods from one location to the other because of fear of them. The fear of being attacked on the highway is another thing. The fear of being kidnapped. Now, 2025 is somewhere around the corner. The things that happened to Nigerians in 2024 it's not something, well, you don't even need to tell anyone, but then you've broken it down to say, well, it is not every Nigerian that were affected by the average people. If you ask me, I'll tell you these are the real Nigerians. The average Nigerians are the real Nigerians. All right. Now, let's look at policy formation, because we're talking about our state of the economy. And the president will always say, even in the papers yesterday, the vice president has come out to say, well, everyone needs to at least deal with the federal government. Things will get better in 2025. The media chat of the president yesterday, a lot of hopes. And that's one thing the president had been doing since assumption of office. There will be light at the end of the tunnel. Let's just go through this once and for all, and things will get better. What are your projections into 2025?
I think for me, we appreciate what they are saying, because we all need messages of hope like that, so that you can keep our mind resonate to what will happen in the future. Although there will be light at the end of the tunnel, especially we hope that light will be at the end of the tunnel, because this is not the first time Nigerians will be hearing this rhetoric statement from statesmen like president, vice president, and the rest of them. We appreciate them for saying that, but we want them to put those statements into action. So projecting to 2025, we will see opportunity whereby government policy will be in real form, not in nominal form. What we have been experiencing in 2024, before 2024, 2021, are nominal changes in the effect of government policy. When I say nominal, just the figures they are reading out. Okay, like when the president was reading the budget, he said they are able to raise over 14 trillion naira from the revenue side of their budget of 2024. Good, but how effective has that money been? And they end up spending 21 trillion naira by the end of third quarter. So all the way they are spent to all through this year in 2024, how have Nigerians felt those impact of that money? Good, there are road construction going on, there are hospital upgrading going on, there are educational facility being provided, but I see majority of those money going to just allowances, salaries, and contracting of civil servants and contractors of government. But other Nigerians who are working for contractor at a roadside, construction side, building side construction, how much are they getting? Now, after doing all this, the money they give them, the money they pay them, either a salary or other for work wages, end up being destroyed by the purchasing power as a result of devaluation of the naira technically. So if you now ask me now, projecting for 2025, I want to see 2025 whereby Nigerian purchasing power will be appreciable in a way that Nigerians can now have the value of their currency when they are spending it. When you have 100 naira, you know that 100 naira can give you what 500 naira is giving you in 2024, in 2025. Is that possible? It's possible only if the government can rearrange its thoughts and rearrange its policy marshal in 2025. But with the kind of budget that we have in 2025, I just hope that we can be able to do that, because it has already shown that in 2025 we could have a challenge, particularly from the deficit side of our budget as well as the debt servicing of our budget. And the government doesn't spend more in the economy, there is no way the economy can boom. Although we already identified that there are 4 categories of people that enjoy government budget, but it's also trickled down to some of us who are not close to the government. But how that trickling down will affect us positively, it depends on the stability and strength of our naira. Because if naira continue to be devalued, if naira continue to be poor in terms of appreciation, there is no way we can all enjoy 2025. So the major message is that we want a stronger and a strengthened naira in 2025, and that is the only way Nigeria can enjoy the economy and have a benefit of what the government is doing in 2025.
All right, we have Olamileko Adefolarin right here in the studio today, a political economist, and we're talking about, we're looking at the state of the economy and of course how 2024 has been economically. All right, but then let's look at Nigerians believe that there are systems that should work in favor of the average Nigerians, even if there are policies. Let's take, for instance, the financial sectors. You know what Nigerians go through, despite the fact that things are hard, it's a challenging economy, all right? But then there are other systems that are even making things difficult for Nigerians, all right, additional to the hardship. Let's look at the financial sector. We talked about the float of naira just now. We know the impact is massive. It's untold. Except for just the few Nigerians who have the dollar to change to naira, they are the ones winning now. The issue of naira scarcity, you know, where there is no naira, the naira is still scarce. Don't you think this has a negative impact of the economy of the nation and an increase? Because as it is right now, the ripple effect of all these things at the end of the day bounce back to the average Nigerian. What do you think about this? Is it that the federal government is quiet about it, or it is still part of what will make the economy better?
You know, when I started this show, I made mention of following principles and economic policies of Bretton Woods, like the ideas of IMF and World Bank. They are the ones that dictate how some economy work. And we have taken hook, line, and sinker some of those policies. Now, if we say naira is scarce, why is it scarce? There are two major reasons why naira is scarce. Now, the CBN, as a manager of our monetary policy, want to control the cash flow in circulation. You get it? And they have the only way they thought, or the only way they can also let CBN think they can do that, is to strangulate the cash flow from the CRS. The CRS, cash reserve ratio of banks. As today it is 43.5% that any bank must keep any money with CBN. 43% of whatever they have collected from all Nigerians as deposit. 43% of it must be with the CBN. Now, they now thought another way that, okay, the other way to also control this flow is to ensure that every bank branch, normally before, every bank branch has the opportunity to deploy over 500 million naira daily, either through the POS, either through their ATM, or through cash withdrawal. 500 million daily, every bank branch. But today it is 100 million. So what do they want to do with that stringent control? To control the flow of cash, in the sense that, according to them, the only way to control inflation is to strangulate cash flow in the system, so that people will not have much money to buy anything. Then maybe the price of those things will fall. So those principles come from textbook economists, as well as advocation by IMF and World Bank, that the only way to do all these things is to control the cash flow. And that's why CBN brought that idea this December, in November, that banks branches cannot dispose not less than just 100 million a day. And that's why it's
as against the first 500 million.
As against the 500 million before. Now with that, what do you think will happen to bank branch putting money in their ATM or allowing people to withdraw? Then they now say highest withdrawal is 20,000, either on the counter or in your ATM. Highest is 10,000. So with all that, the ripple effect is that the same inflation you want to control can never be controlled, because as the people are finding it difficult to access those cash. Now the only way they can access is to buy, and that's why people are saying that people are selling cash. And why would they sell cash when it is limited in quantity and in circulation? Although we know that some people have it, but the one that ordinary people will access is very limited. So the only way the people can access is to double the price. And people who normally take money to bank before now understand that instead of taking money to bank like filling station and some big supermarket, they sell it. So with that, the effect is that as you are buying, and you know, once you buy something 10 naira, you add your own price, your own marginal price. So everyone is adding 2, 3, 4. And with that, it increases inflation. And what is inflation? The general high price of goods at a particular period. So the period that we are is the period of general high price of goods, and that is contradictory and contrasts the policy of CBN to control cash flow in circulation, with the regulation that are put in place that only 100 million that a bank branch can dispose in a day, and with that it causes a lot of hardship, and that is what is rebouncing the hardship that we are faced today. And I can authoritatively say that by the first quarter of 2025, this effect will be more higher. I think currently our inflation is 34.88 or 34.60. Now the president promised in his budget that he's going to bring it down from that 34 to 15. How will he bring it down with this kind of policy that is in place? Nobody says you should not control cash in flow, but don't use stringent, because our economy is a cash-based economy. It's still very lower and mundane to use that kind of policy, because it strangulates majority of us who are majorly dealing with cash. Although we appreciate that we want it to go into online banking, cashless policy, but at the end of the day, we are right for it, but it is not all the economy setting or on the structure of the economy that is ready for that cashless-based economic policy that the CBN is putting in place. But we appreciate it. It's needed, but it should be done in a gradual way, not aggressive way that is being put across by the country.
But the same CBN was given instruction to other commercial banks that they must make cash available.
And really, how much are they making available? Is it 200 million in a day? Is it 500? Let them go back to the old stage of 500 million a day for each branch and see whether the cash will not flow.
But don't you think that will make things difficult, or maybe affect the policy of trying to revamp the economy, making cash available everywhere?
If you make the cash available, already the cash has been available before, and the economy is still bad since 1999. Our cash, this kind of policy was implemented in 1999. From 1999 to 2007, we have such policy, but Nigerians complain about the bad nature of the economy. From 2007 to 2015, was the economy this strangulated with hindrance or limitation of cash? But we still complain. Even people are saying that we are buying back about 15,000 in 2015, in 2010, and complaining now. Those policy then was still very bad to us, but we are not limiting cash. But the challenge is that our economy should be homegrown policy that will help the economy to grow. Majority of businesses are still in the informal sector. We should not use policies that want to use to modernize the economy and the formal sector to now use it to punish the informal sector. If you understand what I'm trying to say, majority of us are still operating from the informal sector. So the informal sector is still large in quantity than the formal sector that the CBN is trying to use some of this policy. If you see online banking, the informal sector already have embraced online banking, transaction on internet, but the informal sector have not yet grown into it the way the formal sector have been grown into it. So if you now want to use that policy, because the policy they are using is to correct the abnormality in the formal sector. All the shenanigans normally happen in the informal sector. That is the policy. This cash flow is a sentiment that CBN needs to cut, but it has now rebounded and affected the informal sector, leading to what we are faced today.
All right, we're still looking at the state of the economy of the nations and what Nigerians are going through. And as a matter of fact, 2024 is winding out, and the Survivor Series, how are Nigerians surviving? How was it for 2024? And we have our guest in the studio adding his voice to the conversation. The discussion is getting more intense right now. We're still looking at the economy of the nation and how it has been done. Do you think, Nigeria right now, the way things are going, commodities, services, everything is on the rise, all right? And now we are getting into 2025. The question now is this: what will happen to the economy of the nation or to the people if this hardship continues? Or you feel, well, the way things are going, it may not be like this all through, and the actors, we have the actors in the game. Some persons are actually saying, well, this is good because they are benefiting something, but the average Nigerians are waiting for when they can go to the market and come back with their cellophane filled up. But the economy of the nation right now, the way it is in 2024, in 2025, what are the things that you feel, yes, no matter what, we can point to this and said, well, the federal government, at one point, can we say, yes, the federal government have done well, it is now better? Because the federal government will tell you, well, if you can't buy fuel for 1,000 naira, you should be able to make do with CNG, which is $200. They have options. What would you say about their options too?
I think the options are quite good in their own ranking, but when you talk about how will Nigerian feel in 2025, the effect have gone. I made mention of the formal sector of economy and informal sector economy. See, most of the policy of the government targeted formal sector, but the reverberating effect linked down to the informal sector. For instance, recently PMS from the S-Depot price has been reduced to 899. But today, how many filling stations are selling that fuel below 1,000 naira? They are still holding on to their old price. And that old price is what the informal sector understand. That's why when somebody say that anything goes up in it doesn't come down, it's referring to the informal sector. It is the informal sector majority of us deal with. Now, the formal sector is easily controlled. That's why you see that the price of PMS come down to 889 from Dangote to NNPC, because they are operating at the informal sector. But guess what? The informal sector, where majority of these outlet filling stations operate, they don't care. None of them. The least you can see that they are selling for is now 1,020 naira in Abuja. Nobody is selling at 960 except MRS. MRS, sorry for doing free advert for them. MRS is now going down as low as 980. But how many MRS filling stations do we have in Abuja, or do we have across the country? So the informal sector take burden that the formal sector releases, and either negative or positive, the informal sector take it up. That's why if you go into ordinary market, either you say market, market, you don't get anything less. If you check people, producers of some of these products that we are consuming, they will tell you that they have not added a pin to their price. But go into those informal market, they will tell you no, that they are buying from the distributor, and the distributor is selling it at this price. As I was coming to the studio, I said, okay, let me get some bobuchin to warm my mouth a little. And I went to the shop and I said, okay, give me, he said one for 15 naira. And I said, no, in my area I will buy this 400 naira. And I knew that if that pack is about 1,003, and in that pack you make extra 300 naira if you buy a pack. But the informal market seller or trader will not sell it below what he will have his marginal profit, double of what he's supposed to get. And that's what I've heard. So in 2024, majority of the government policy on the nominal level, what I mean nominal, the growth number that the government normally need, it will be sweet. The president will be so happy that the economy is working. But when you now translate that nominal figure to the informal sector that most of us operate, you discover that there's a disconnection. I just use the price of fuel for an example now. It's now 899 at the ex-depot price, either the refineries, either in Port Harcourt in Lagos. But guess what? In Abuja, it is still 1,020 naira, the least price you can get. You get it? So with that, that's what we will reflect on every other thing that you can see across the country. So in 2025, we will see this thing continue. But at the formal level, it may reduce. But when you get to the informal sector, don't expect the price to fall, because every trader wants to make profit. They will tell you that it is old stock they are selling, not new stock.
All right. Well, the reason language that Nigerians always speak, well, as I buy them from markets, so I sell them. Well, these are languages that Nigerians speak to extort others. Let's get back to the policies, because one of the things that actually brought us to where we are right now are the policies that came into place. Now, the federal government is trying to put up other policies to at least cushion the effect, to reduce the effect of this. And that takes us to the tax reform. The tax reform, in fact, a lot of people are reacting to it. A lot of people are saying, well, it's going to be favorable. Some person said, well, somebody has tried doing it before, it didn't work, and all of that. The tax reform, do you see it, all right, as something, maybe, should I say, a key that will a little bit unlock the hardship that Nigerians are going through right now in 2025 if it's actually been implemented? Because for the tax reform, everyone have their own side of the story to it. But the president, I think he has said, well, it stands. No matter what, it's going to stand. The review will be done, but then it's going to stand. What do you think? Is that a good move in a time like this, or do you think these are the things Nigerians need right now in an economy that is this challenging?
I'll still go back to what we start this show in terms of dissecting the issue. Go back to pre-1986 and post-1986, because what we are facing right now are post-1986 understanding of how economy work. We moved from the homegrown economy of pre-1986, that is from 1960, where Nigerian government was just looking at the homegrown economic policy without listening to anybody outside Nigeria. But since 1986, we have been listening to different people, different quarters on how to manage Nigerian economy. Now, the issue about tax policies boils down to issue of contention around VAT. Before now, our VAT was 5%. The argument came, it was moved to 7.5%. Now another argument is coming that it should be moved to at least move to 15% by 2030 or 2035. Now the argument is that globally, VAT in Nigeria is one of the least. You understand? The list of VAT across the world, Nigeria has one of the least. When it was 5.5, it was even NGO, CSO that was arguing that the VAT should be moved upward. And government listening to majority of them, and they move it up. And the essence of moving VAT upward was to raise revenue, to have enough revenue for the government. I will still use the analog of the formal sector and informal sector to explain this. Now, when government is raising revenue from the VAT, as we raise revenue from the formal sector, all the company operating in Nigeria, the rest of them, now the formal sector is there to bring this money. Now, when the money comes, it is meant for developmental purpose. But when the money is not used for developmental purpose, that is when we now have issue with government revenue. Because the target of this current government is that they want to raise Nigeria revenue up. Let us look away from the oil sector and look for opportunity to raise more money, which is very good that we go to the VAT section. Now the VAT will increase to 10%, then from 10% to 11.5%, then to 12%. Gradually that you get to 15%. Because major global VAT across the world between 15 to 20%. You get it. So Nigeria want to raise their own gradually every year or every 2-3 years to that level, which is good. Nobody argue about it. But the challenge you also have with that VAT, that tax was the derivation formula that will be used to share the money when the money is collected, and that's where the agreement comes in. But my one is not about that particular aspect. My one is that when this money eventually collected, whether you use 10% to share, 50% to share, we want to see the evidence of that money on the life of Nigerians. When such money comes into the pool of government posts, what are we using it for? Infrastructure, education, health, and other facility. So that is the main issue. So when this money is collected, either from the formal sector and informal sector, where most of us operate, now we want to see the effect on everybody, and that's where the main argument should start from. Not either by derivation, either by share, but when this money is eventually collected and given to ABC, we want to see it impacting the life of people, and that should be the argument. You get it? But the argument I earlier laid was that we listen to others how it is being done outside Nigeria, and that's why this tax reform is coming. And again, the argument that government should move away from just borrowing money or looking away from the oil alone, we should look at other sectors that will help us to raise money, and the only thing that government is thinking about is to collect tax. But the other issue we have to attack the government with is that it's not just private sector will be collecting tax for. What is your government enterprise doing to also be competitive to make money for government? Because that's where another argument is. We can't have 60 government companies and all of them will be running after taxes and regulation. They should also be bringing money, producing things for Nigeria to consume and to buy.
All right, it shouldn't just be left to the private enterprises alone, but also the government enterprises. What are they bringing to the table? Is it all about Nigerians alone? But then the government also should try as much as possible to make sure they comply with this. Thank you very much, Olamileko Adefolarin, for coming on Global Morning today. It's so good that we have you all through on Global Morning today. This is going to be the size of the discussion and the end of Global Morning on this beautiful 26th day of December 2024. Have a wonderful celebration ahead of you. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Bye-bye for now.
Welcome to Global Morning.
From flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure. If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle, the ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.